Here we go, guys. This homework is, or this lesson is writing linear equations if I give you a point and I give you a slope. So now we're going to piece it together and give a linear equation. So this corresponds with homework 4.6. There are two ways we're going to do it. Your journal, there's one way to do it, given a formula, and then I'm going to give you a shortcut how to do it. So the first way we're going to talk about it is just using a point-slope formula. And here's what your point-slope formula is. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's it. It looks very, very familiar to y equals mx plus b, right? You got your y over here equals m, and then you've got an x value. So if I can remember this formula, then if I look at example 1, I can just plug some values in. Remember, when you have so I give you an ordered pair and I give you a slope, and now your expectation is to make sure you put it in a linear equation. So what I can do is I can label this as an x1 value, that's a y1 value. This is my first ordered pair. Remember that sub 1 means x is your x1 and then your y1. All right, so now if you have a formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, I'm just going to plug some values in. Y minus my y1 is 1, so I plugged in 1 for y1, equals my slope is 2, x minus my x value here is 4. So now I have filled everything in, and now I'm just going to distribute and solve for y, which is pretty much should be instinctual at this point. So let's distribute. So I get y minus 1 equals 2x minus 8, and then add 1 on both sides. So I get y equals 2x minus 7. So now I have my linear equation and I'm able to graph it. My beginning point's -7 and my slope is 2. So if you think about this, if you're given a slope and a beginning point, all you're finding is your beginning point. All you're finding is your y-intercept. So that's one way how to do it if you use this formula, and that's totally legit. Use that formula. But I'm also going to show you another way how to do it. All right, so I'm going to scroll up. And I don't have a place to, write this part down. So if you want to do it on the loose leaf or the left side of your paper where it's blank, you can do it this way. So the first way we did it was using point-slope formula. Because I gave you a point and I gave you a slope. That's why it's called the point-slope formula. The second way we're going to do it is we're going to take the knowledge that we already know. We have already been using y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b. So that's what I'm going to use here. I'm going to use the formula y equals mx plus b. My y value, I still have an x value and a y value. My y value is 1. My slope is 2. My x is 4. And now that's going to allow me to solve for b. So here I have 1 equals 8 plus b. And how do you get b by itself? You subtract 8 on both sides. So you get b equals -7. Now, remember the goal. The goal is to write a linear equation. And all I need to do to write a linear equation is a slope and a beginning point. Well, beginning point, slope. Now I'm going to put it back. And y equals 2x minus 7. And that's the same answer that I got before. Okay, so this one was given, I solved this using y equals mx plus b. All right, so let's do number 2. Actually, I'm going to alternate between the point-slope formula. I'll do point-slope formula, and then I'll do y equals mx plus b. So on my point-slope formula, notice I'm writing my formula every single time, and that's an expectation. That's what I want you to do regardless. Write your formula every single time. And I have y minus 0 equals 2/3, x minus a -6 minus a negative becomes +6. So when I distribute, I get 2/3 x plus 4. And then even if I add 0 on both sides, it becomes 4. So y equals 2/3 x plus 4. And I don't have any work to do because that's already given me my formula. Okay? That's number 3. Now, I'm going to do number 4. using y equals mx plus b, the second way we learned how to do it. So my y value is -1, my slope is -3/4, my x value is -8. So I have -1 equals a -3/4 times a -8. A negative times a negative is a positive. 4 and 8 cancel out to 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So -1 equals 6 plus b. I know I went through that fast, but remember, since day one of math back a few months ago, we talked about multiplying fractions by whole numbers. So now I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides, and I get b equals -7. So I'm not done at this point, because now I have my slope, now I have my beginning point, so now I have to rewrite y equals -3/4 x minus 7. And that is my linear equation. So I'm putting everything back in slope-intercept form. All right, let's try, let's flip over to the back page. All right, and let's do number 9. And remember, odd, I'm going to do point-slope formula, and then this way I'm going to do y equals mx plus b. So here's x1, y1. Remember, I use a formula, so I write it every single time. So I get y minus a -9 becomes y plus 9 equals m times x minus 5. Oops. It gave me my slope. I'm going to use my slope of -2/5. So here I have y plus 9 equals -2/5 x plus 2. 5's cancel out. Negative times negative is a positive. And when I subtract 9 from both sides, I get y equals -2/5 x minus 7. And I'm done. It's already in y equals mx plus b. Now let's look at this way. Y equals mx plus b. My y value is -7. My slope is 1. My x value is -4. And over here, I'm looking for my beginning point. So I have -7 equals -4 plus b. Add 4 on both sides, and b equals -3. I'm not done. I have to put it in y equals mx plus b form. So I get y equals 1x minus 3. I don't have to put that 1 there, remember. I can just put y equals x minus 3. Either way, I'm going to get the same answer, okay? Let's do a couple of more in your journal. Let's do 15 and 16, okay? So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's my formula. I write it down. So I get y minus 1 equals -1/4. X minus a -4, which is positive 4. And then I get y minus 1 equals -1/4 x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides, and I get y equals -1/4 x. I don't have to put 0 there because it's understood now my beginning point is the origin. If I put plus 0, that's okay, but either way it just means my beginning point is the origin. And now let's use y equals mx plus b. My y value is -8. My slope is -2. My x is 7 plus b. So now I have -8 equals -14 plus b. I add 14 on both sides, and I get b equals 6. Right? Yes, b equals 6. So now I have y equals -2x plus 6, and now all of these are written in slope-intercept form, okay? If you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, good luck.